Hi everyone, today I decided to make a video about how to choose sewing machine if you don't have one yet, to make quiet books. First, the sewing machine, any sewing machine, has to be heavy, because if it's not heavy enough, it's going to move on the table while you are sewing. Next, regarding the bobbin, I prefer the horizontal one. I need to change bobbin very often. While you are sewing, you can see threads on the bobbin. Next, about the stitches. First one, of course, is the straight stitch. And for the felt pieces, you need this straight stitch, but in the left position. So the stitch goes 1 millimeter to the left from the center of the presser. If you buy machine in store, and you can try it and you can check how it works. I advise to take with you a piece of felt or even piece of paper and check this stitch. For example, my machine sews 1 millimeter to the left from the center of the foot, but some they sew 1.5 or even 2 millimeters from the center. To sew all pieces of the felt, I use only this stitch. So as you can see, this mark goes along the edge of the felt and the needle goes 1 millimeter to the left. So this stitch is very important. Now I'll show you the difference if it will be not 1 millimeter but more, for example 1.5. It looks not very neat because this is better. So if you can try your sewing machine in the store, just check this kind of stitch. Next one, you need zig-zag stitch, and actually this is it for quiet books. Of course, you may choose any sewing machine with a lot of stitches, but actually believe me, you are not going to use them all. All you need, straight stitch on the left side, zig-zag stitch. It's not important what kind of buttonhole you can make, automatic one or not. Because in felt pieces you don't use the zigzag stitch. It looks nicer if you make buttonhole with your straight stitch. Next, very important for sewing quiet books, the page can be thick or thin. Actually, it's better if your sewing machine has presser foot pressure adjustment knob, so you can change pressure on your foot. Also, if you are going to sew denim, it will help you as well. Next, also because you are going to change threads very often, so you need needle threader like this one, so it will save you time. Now I think almost all modern sewing machines have removable extension table, and here you can store your presser feet or I don't know, anything. Actually, it's not necessary for sewing quiet books, but if you're going to use this sewing machine to hem trousers, for example, it will help you. Now about the presser feet. Most of all, you need the standard one, then presser foot for sewing zipper. If you're going to make leather applique, you may need Teflon foot, but it's not necessary. Presser foot to make buttonholes with every sewing machine, but in quiet books actually you don't need it. Next one, this is applique foot. I use it very often, and also I use this presser foot to sew on the buttons, because those legs hold button very well. I don't advise you to use in quiet books invisible zipper, because it's not very strong enough for quiet books. But if you want to use those in any kind of sewing, maybe skirt, maybe, I don't know, anything, you may need presser foot for invisible zipper, but in quiet books we don't use it. So only those three. Yes, and about the foot, I advise you to use any kind of transparent presser foot because when you sew the felt, so you need to see the edge of the felt. So this mark, or if you have transparent presser foot, it will help you to see the edge, and the stitch will be exactly, and the stitch will be straight. And now about the needles. To sew felt pieces I use needle number 11. To sew all parts in the book I use number 14. And to bind quiet book pages and to bind the quiet book itself I use number 16. But if you have really thick page with many layers of fabric or felt or leather or batting, so you may need number 18. Yes, and just don't forget, if you use your needle very long time, just check it time to time. It has to be straight, it has to be sharp. If the needle is not straight, if it's not sharp enough, so while sewing you will see loops of threads, or the needle will skip the stitches. Next, very good function if you want to sew the buttons, or if you have very thick page and it just doesn't go under the presser foot, so you need this function to drop the feed dogs. A lot of modern machines have speed controller, but if your machine doesn't have, and actually I like to control sewing with my foot controller, and if you can in store try your sewing machine, it has to be very sensitive even to make one step with the needle. Sometimes you need to sew the circle, so to make the stitch very smooth you need to sew very slowly. I'm going to sew now only with my foot using the foot controller. So as you can see, my foot controller is very sensitive. I can even not just to make one step, but semi-step. So I think this is it. So what you need heavy sewing machine with light, but all of them I think now with the lamp now. Then you need very good straight stitches, zigzag stitch. You need horizontal bobbin. You need very sensitive foot controller. You may need presser foot pressure adjustment knob, and you need drop feed level and some of standard feet. So this is it. I hope this video a little bit helped you. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.